Good morning and welcome to our show. I'm Phil Tagami here this morning with our District Attorney, Tom Orloff. Tom's been serving Alameda County and living in Oakland for over the past 37 and a half years. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
We've been working on a series of questions with elected officials and representatives over the course of the last month, focusing really on crime in Oakland and Alameda County. And one of the themes that comes up time and time again, people I don't think really understand everything the district attorney does. Can you help us understand a little bit about the office and what you do?
Sure. Let's start out by just kind of talk a little bit about staffing. We have about 150 right now. I think it's 148 attorneys throughout the county. We also have an investigative division, which has sworn police officers that now consists of about 65 individuals. In addition to that, of course, we have our clerical and support function. So it's about 300 employees altogether.
Wow.
And we're located throughout the county. We have offices adjacent to each courthouse because we serve the courts. And our single biggest function is the prosecution of criminal cases. We do other things as well. We serve the juvenile courts and prosecute juvenile offenders. Technically, they don't commit crimes. They come within the provisions of Section 602 of the Welfare and Institutions Code by virtue of doing something if they were an adult was a crime. We also have a Consumer Environmental Protection Division, which does both civil and criminal consumer protection cases and as well environmental protection cases. Also in that unit, because of grant funding from the state, we have an insurance fraud unit, which does both workers' comp and automobile insurance fraud. And also we have two people assigned, attorneys and an investigator assigned to real estate fraud, which is something that is also funded through a separate stream. We also have their elder abuse, both physical and financial elder abuse. So they pick up a number of different kinds of things.
Sounds like there's a lot going on.
Yeah, in addition we have a small contingency doing public assistance fraud. Commonly called welfare fraud, but it's really more complicated. It investigates fraud in home support services, which is a county program, as well as child care, where there turns out to be a significant amount of fraud.
Wow. So it's a competitive environment. Has it been over the time that you've been in the DA's office? You've been actually the elected DA since the early 90s.
Since, yeah, about 12 and a half years.
12 and a half years now. Has it been more difficult to recruit?
No, actually, we're, for whatever reason, we've done extremely well. We have a very organized program where we go out to all the Bay Area law schools in the fall and interview second-year law students. And then we bring about, after a second interview process, we bring about between 8 and 12 in to spend the summer with us between their second and third year. They're actually certified by the state bar, so they can go to court. And we get them at least one misdemeanor jury trial while they're with us during the summer. It gives us a chance to really see how they fit in and how they fit in with the work that we do. It gives them an opportunity to see if it's what they like doing. And we do not all, but most of our hiring through that. And it's a very popular program, and it's I'm very fortunate to get really some great young attorneys.
Neat. It's been said, and I was reading it somewhere, that one of your greatest joys was actually going to trial, and you've tried over 100 cases yourself, including, I think, 25 that were murder trials.
Right. And I just finished one up in June that I hadn't tried one for a while, but I went and picked one up, and it was a murder of a San Leandro police officer.
I see.
And it came out very well.
Right. I see, you know, that's a very sad occasion and a difficult one to address, but I do see a degree of energy and sparkle just dealing with the going to trial.
Well, so that's what I signed on for in the first place.
Right.
I didn't sign on for budgets and TV interviews and things like that.
Right.
I signed on to prosecute cases and go to court.
There you go. And looking at Oakland as a part of Alameda County, we're probably somewhere between 25 and 30% of the county's population, depending on influx of people moving from place to place. But we make up a much larger percentage of the county's crime. In your view, what's changed, and what things do you suggest, or do you think we can do to kind of turn that trend?
Well, you know, looking at it, I mean, I started February 2nd, 1970, in the DA's office. That was, before crack cocaine. And it was also before the methamphetamine epidemic, which affects more of the south and east part of the county. Crack cocaine really affects more of the north part of the county, including Oakland. That was a whole transition in the 80s and late 80s that really increased the violence. It created a whole nother opportunity for people that wanted to take advantage of that opportunity in terms of making money. The old heroin addicts were kind of a fixed bunch that were kind of mellow, and that was a big issue when I started, but it didn't have the violence around it. It didn't have the violent behavior of the users. And so that was a big change. And if you kind of look at just what's happened with homicides over those 37 years, you can see a real increase when cocaine, particularly when crack cocaine, came in for a number of reasons. Right. The turf wars, the gang stuff. So since that came in, it's kind of hasn't increased until last year. There was a dramatic increase in the number of homicides. I think there are a whole number of reasons for that. But it's sort of been, if you take it over a more longer period, it's been fairly stable since that hit. When I first became DA, the year before I became DA, there was 152 homicides, I think. After I was DA for about 4 years, there was 88.
Right.
And I took absolutely no credit for it. Right. Because I knew it was going to go up again.
Right.
And going down, we had some part of it, but I don't take any credit. And I knew it was going to go up again because things go like that. They go up and down.
Cycles, sure. So in talking about things that we can do to address these issues, and again, these are long-term strategies, there's always a battle between prevention and suppression. And, so you get into these debates where people say we need to